Tiffany is a very brilliant person in the health IT sector. She's worked as an analyst, application analyst to be more specific for Vanderbilt University Medical Center. And Tiffany, tell us more about your background. We want to know.
My background is I first interned at Vanderbilt Medical Center in the medical records department. I was going to Tennessee State University at the time to get my health information management degree. And I was looking for a position in the health information management department. I noticed a position opened up in the privacy office, and I applied for it and I got the position. And the position seemed more support related for the patient portal. And in 2017, we implemented Epic, which is the EHR vendor that we now use at Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
My role transitioned into the health IT department. So that's how I was able to go into the IT department. When my role transitioned and I got to see a whole new world, I noticed that there were so many opportunities to be in the department. You know, you could do whatever. You can, be a scrum master, you can be a project manager, you can be principal architect. Like, there's so many positions available and so many applications to support. I was just overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, you felt overwhelmed, but we all know that with great things comes great challenge. But let's talk about the benefit. Like, how do you feel like your path to this? We know that it's a hard process. It's not the easiest, but it's a very fruitful one. And so, like, what are some of like the things that you feel like you've gained from going into this sector?
I mean, first and foremost, my income like quadrupled compared to the position I was in. I mean,
I believe you.
I was shocked with the amount of that I could get paid in the IT department. Coming from a single parent, I did not have the opportunities that other people had growing up. So my income potential was very low because of my mother's income potential. But now that I've, gone into this position, like, I feel like my income potential is like above the sky, any limit.
That's very interesting. I mean, that you've cultivated this path for yourself out of nowhere. And so you're telling me that, your mom, she didn't have this type of income potential. You didn't come from, a lot, but then you decided to put yourself in a situation where, hey, IT can be the thing for me. And now, you've benefited from it. And I think a lot of people are trying to do the same thing that you're trying to do. And so what are some more of like the challenges that you face to get to this place that you are now?
The challenges I faced would be not knowing what I can do. Putting myself into the position to figure out like what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses. Another challenge would be, it's all about who you know. You don't know a position is available unless somebody tells you about it or who's hiring. So if you don't have a good network of friends that you could, reach out to, that also kind of hurts your income at the end of the day, I think.
Right. And that's true. I mean, that can do that. And so that brings me to my next question for you, because in IT, there's a path, right? You're an analyst now, an application analyst, which is a very noteworthy position. But where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Being a project manager.
Okay. Okay. Right. And that's a great position to be in. So um, I think a lot of people, they want to be in that project management, position, or have that title. But I feel like the best project managers, they have the analyst experience. So Tiffany has, worked herself up to being a senior analyst, application analyst, and has a very, great integral role to any product success. But now she's wanting to take her knowledge over to a managerial side and be a project manager in the next 5 years. And so that's very commendable. And I feel like a lot of people need to understand that to get to that type of level, it's a process. So that's a very good thing for everybody to understand. And the last thing I want to ask you is, so how important do you feel like a master's degree is to be successful in IT? Or do you feel like somebody has to have an IT master's, or, do you feel like there's more, I guess, benefit with certificates? What's your opinion?
My opinion. So before I transitioned into the health IT department, I thought that having a master's in IT would be beneficial. But once I got around everyone, it's not even the case. It's about your skills. It's about what you know. You could literally learn, your skills from YouTube or, Udemy or TikTok. I've even seen people teach their skills on TikTok or, your blogs or whatever. Like you can learn your skills. Even your neighbor can show you things. And it's all about the value that you can bring to that company. They don't care. For example, I had a boss, when I transitioned to the IT department, he was saying there was a couple positions open. And I was like, oh, well, what degree do you need? He was like, we don't need a degree. As long as you know how to do the work, you can get it done.
Right.
I was like, okay. So I don't advocate for people to go and get their master's if you're trying to do the IT route, unless you plan on being, like the CIO or the CEO of a company. That would probably be the only reason why I would say go ahead and do it, because that would make you marketable and valuable in that area. But if you just plan on, being below all those, you don't need your master's degree.
Yeah. And I agree with you too. I mean, I've seen people with just certificates without even college degrees. And then they go into IT. They may go into like something non-technical, like a business analyst or some sort of consulting role, make 120, 150K a year. After some time, they put in their work. They may start off as an analyst, and then you see them later making that kind of money or in making that kind of impact as well. And so it's just like, I think a lot of people that try to get into the IT world, they're always like, well, I feel like I don't have a master's degree. I feel like I don't have a degree in IT, but there's people with like political science degrees or, arts degrees that are in IT that are leaders, directors.
Lawyers.
Right.
Nursing.
Right. And all of those encompass in IT. I mean, there's people that are doing the legal side of IT or the nursing IT or more on the business side and the application side, like you, like there's just so many different areas. And so, I don't know. I mean, I think this was a great conversation, and people definitely need to understand that IT is a way to protect your life. I think so. You know, it's a great thing to fall back on, and it's not hard to get in. You just have to take that kind of leap. So I really appreciate this conversation about, you know, you telling us about your background and your story going into healthcare IT as an application analyst. Tiffany, could you tell us like what you like about your job and being an application analyst in healthcare?
So I like what I do with, I help patients currently and help try to figure out what issues that they're having and help solve those issues. So basically, I do a lot of problem solving um, and making sure things are done the way they're supposed to be done. I feel like that's one thing in being in IT, you have to be a good problem solver and a good analytical type person to be able to thrive in this industry.
Hmm. So you like to use your technical skills that you've developed and try to find a way to help those who are living in like the real world, whether it's like, you know, they have illnesses or there's different things that you're doing on the back end. This technology is supporting bringing them a better quality of life. Okay. So like with that in itself, eh, what else drives you about helping these people? Like when you're doing what you do as an analyst, what else do you think about in your mind about it?
Well, that these patients are going to be able to better take care of themselves, be able to better manage their care. Um, with My Health at Vanderbilt, they can message their providers at any day or time of the day that they want. They can go and look at their test results at any time of the day that they want. They can go and view their medication lists, order new medications. They can, invite their family members to be delegates on their accounts. So, in order for them to do all this, I have to make sure that everything is, running smoothly and it works properly.
Right. So you're a very important part or piece into their health outcomes. And I feel like a lot of people just think offering direct care is the only way that you can help patients and people. But what'd you say?
Used to do that. I
You,
used to be a caregiver.
oh, you did?
Mhm.
Okay. So
I did
tell,
years while I was in school.
hmm. And so at that time, you probably feel like as a caregiver, that was the way that you can help people. You didn't think that, hey, I can help people just as much on the back end, if not more. I mean, that's just my opinion. It's bigger
Yeah.
impact, but um, that's very interesting. And
I
so,
started from the bottom and now I'm here.
starting from the bottom, now you okay, that's cool. Uh, so I feel like more people have to understand that there's multi-dimensional ways to contribute to the outcome of patients. And how do you feel like your past experience as a caregiver has impacted, you know, your insight on technology as a pertains to health IT per se?
Well, my past experience as a caregiver, I know that they're not technologically savvy. So when it comes to the My Health at Vanderbilt account for them, we've implemented the app to where they can go in and just use their face just to log into the app, or they can just put in the little 4-digit passcode. So they're not having to actually type in, the 8 to 10 characters for their passcode. It makes them, be able to their account much quicker. And then also on the app, everything is zoomed in for them,
Mm,
for the visually impaired patients. So they could see their information better than if they were to try to go on a website.
Right. And so you already had that insight to know how they are. And so that translated into how these applications should be built, because you firsthand experience, they may have blurrier vision. And so, hey, I'm on the IT side. Let's make it to where they can see this more clearly. And that's the gap that's bridged that people have to understand, is that there's a side where you provide direct care, but there's also a side where there's benefit on the back end, and that's in IT. And so I'm always an advocate with people who, or for people who have a healthcare background, to get into IT because they need it. I mean, this is a world where we're trying to solve problems and put people who need better care into a better place and have a higher probability of success for their health. And we need more people like you who have healthcare experience, who are willing to take the risk of going into territory they know nothing about, getting an IT knowledge, helping people that need it, and making more money. Very frank. So I really like that. So I appreciate that. So you all heard it. Leverage your healthcare background if you have it and get into IT.
Can't go wrong.
It can't go wrong. Any last remarks you want to leave for the viewers?
Just do it.
Hey, that's enough. Let's do it. You guys heard it. All right. Well, Tiffany, I appreciate that. We thank you for this. And yeah, a lot of people are going to learn something from this conversation. I believe that.
Knowledge is power.
Absolutely. All right. You have a good one.
You too.
Bye.